The medical ship Halora 9 was floating near the edge of the Zentari galaxy. It was a calm night on the ship. Lights were soft, machines hummed gently, and alien nurses were moving through the clean white hallways. Nurse Jayla, a tall alien, with silver-blue skin and large golden eyes, was reading her data tablet when a loud alarm echoed through the corridors. "Emergency drop detected," the ship's computer voice shouted. Jayla stood quickly. "Location?" she asked. "Sector 7. Unidentified small human cargo ship. One life form detected. Critically injured. A human? Alone? Nobody had seen a human in this area for years." Jayla ran with other nurses to the medical bay, where a rescue drone was already bringing in the pod. Steam escaped from the edges as the pod door opened. Inside, a badly wounded man lay unconscious. His clothes were torn, his face pale, blood stained his side and legs. "He's bleeding badly," one nurse said. "Prepare the table," Jayla shouted. She carefully lifted the human with a robotic arm and placed him on the glowing med table. His chest rose and fell weakly. His heart was still beating. Doctors started scanning him. Alien eyes widened. "His internal structure is strange," one of them said. "We don't understand human anatomy very well," Jayla replied. "Let me help. I studied the old Earth files." "Be careful," the doctor warned. "Their biology is dangerous." Jayla nodded. She took a small light tool and began removing pieces of damaged clothing to clean the wounds. One cut was deep on his upper leg. She sprayed healing foam. Then as she moved lower, her hand paused. Something was there. Between his legs, she saw something her species didn't have. It didn't look like a wound. It didn't look like armor. It looked like part of his body. Her golden eyes widened. "In shock, doctor," she whispered. "There is, something strange." The doctor came closer. He looked, then stepped back. "It must be a human reproductive organ," he said slowly. "But it looks like a wound," Jayla said. "Why? Is it shaped like that? It looks painful. We should not touch it," the doctor said. "No scans, no interference." Jayla looked at the man's face. He looked so fragile, yet something about him seemed strong too. His body was shaking from pain, and he muttered strange words in English. "Mom, I'm sorry. The war. The fire." Jayla leaned closer. She had never met a human before. Never seen one alive. "We can't treat him properly if we don't understand," she said quietly. "We must know more." But her supervisor stepped forward. "No, nurse, you're not allowed to scan that part of the body. It's forbidden under galactic code. Close the suit and stabilize him." Jayla nodded, but her heart beat fast. What kind of being was this? How could a species survive with such strange design, and why did she feel curiosity? Like a scientist, like an explorer, like someone who had just found something important. She gently covered the area with healing fabric and connected the human to life support. As the machine hummed softly, she sat beside him and watched. "Who are you?" "Human," she whispered. Suddenly, the human twitched and his hand moved. His fingers brushed Jayla's. It was warm, soft, alive. "Eli," he whispered. His name was Eli, and he had just become the greatest mystery Jayla had ever seen. Jayla couldn't sleep that cycle. The memory of the strange part of the human's body stayed in her mind. Her species, Zenari, were born from light pods. They had no use for separate male or female bodies, no private organs, no childbirth, no mating. But humans, they were so different, so full of mystery. And this one, Eli, was now inside her care. She stood quietly in the medical observation room. Lights dimmed, machines beeped. Eli was still unconscious, his chest rising and falling slowly. Healing foam covered his wounds. His body was stable now, but Jayla's questions were not. Her fingers tapped against her tablet. She opened restricted files, ancient records from first contact with humans over 50 years ago. Most files were damaged or locked. but one survived. Human biological structures. Level red. She paused. Red meant forbidden. But curiosity pulled her closer. With a deep breath, she used her medical ID to override the warning. The screen blinked, then loaded a 3D scan of a human male. Jayla's eyes widened. The strange part between Eli's legs wasn't a wound at all. It was part of his reproductive system. "This is how humans create new life," she whispered. "They do it with this?" A strange heat crept up her cheeks. Confusion, wonder, and embarrassment all at once. She wasn't used to these feelings. Zenari didn't feel shame or curiosity about bodies, but something about Eli felt different. He was not just a patient. He was a question no textbook could answer. She walked back to Eli's room. The lights were low, no one was watching, no security cameras in private patient rooms, and Eli was still sleeping. Jayla took a deep breath. "For science," she said softly. "For understanding." She picked up the scanner and gently ran it over the area between Eli's legs. The machine buzzed quietly. A 3D model appeared on her tablet. Muscles, tubes, vessels, and something that pulsed with life. Not dangerous, not a wound. It was a natural design, powerful, but vulnerable. The scan gave more than just biology. It gave emotion. Data from old human DNA logs showed this organ was not only for reproduction, but also connected to pleasure, bonding, and trust. Jayla pulled, her hand back. "You strange, beautiful creature," she whispered. "What kind of being are you?" Suddenly Eli stirred. His eyes opened slowly, blue and cloudy. Who are you?" he asked weakly. Jayla froze. She had never heard a human speak directly before. His voice was soft but deep, broken, but full of life. "I am Nurse Jayla," she said. "You are safe. You are on the medical ship Halora 9. Eli blinked. "You're not human," he said. "No," Jayla replied gently. "I am Zenari. I helped you survive." He looked down at his body. "You saw me?" Jayla hesitated. "Yes." Eli gave a tired chuckle. "I bet that was awkward." Jayla tilted her head. "Not awkward, strange, confusing, powerful." Eli smiled weakly. "Yeah, that sounds about right." They sat in silence. Outside the room, footsteps passed by. Jayla quickly turned off her scanner. If anyone found out she broke the rule, she would be expelled. Maybe worse. But she didn't. Regretted this human, Eli, had opened a door she couldn't close now, not just to anatomy, but to something deeper. Something about trust, about learning, about two worlds that were never meant to meet, but now had. As Eli closed his eyes again, Jayla sat down beside him and whispered, "I think you're more than just a survivor. You might change everything." Eli was dreaming again. His head moved side to side on the soft alien pillow. Sweat covered his forehead. His lips moved, whispering broken words in English. Jayla sat beside his bed, watching him closely. "Mom. The fire. Can't save them." She leaned closer, her large golden eyes soft with concern. It had been 3 sleep cycles since he arrived. The swelling on his head had gone down. His wounds were healing, but the pain in his mind was still there. She picked up the translator device and placed it near his mouth. The machine whispered, back in Zenari language, translating his dreams. "They burned. All of them. The kids. I was too late." Jayla's chest felt tight. Her species didn't feel grief like humans did, but she understood loss. The words sounded heavy, like a soul carrying too many memories. When Eli finally woke, his eyes slowly focused on Jayla. "You stayed here all night?" he asked, voice weak but clear. "Yes," she said simply. "You were in pain." "I always am," Eli replied with a sad smile. Jayla tilted her head. "Your body is healing. Why still pain?" Eli looked at the ceiling. It's not my body. It's my heart. Jayla blinked. She didn't understand. Hearts were organs. They pumped blood. They did not feel emotions. Tell me about this pain, she asked. Eli sighed. I was a field medic during the war. We were helping a small colony on a moon called HFY. Alien rebels attacked. Fire, gas, explosions. I tried to help the children, but I was too slow. I lost them. All of them. His eyes filled with water. Jayla stood frozen. You are leaking, she said softly. Eli gave a dry laugh. That's called crying. Why? Do you cry? Because remembering hurts, he said. Jayla sat beside him. Her hand touched his wrist gently. Where I come from, we do not cry. We do not dream. We store memories in crystal memory cubes. Must be nice, Eli whispered. To forget pain, but you do not forget, she said. You carry it. Eli nodded. Humans carry everything, even when it breaks us. Jayla stared at him. This being, this strange creature, was so fragile, yet something about him felt stronger than steel. He survived war, fire, guilt, and still lived. Your body, she said slowly, is very different from us, but your heart, it is even more different. Eli turned his head. What do you mean? I scanned you, she confessed quietly. I saw your reproductive organs. I didn't understand them. They scared me at first. But when I studied human biology, I realized your kind doesn't just use them for survival, but for love. Eli looked surprised. Then he smiled gently. Yeah, he said. I guess you could say that. You use your body to connect, Jayla continued. Your mind to remember, your heart to feel. We Zanari only survive. You live. Eli was silent for a moment. Then he whispered, Maybe that's why we keep losing. We feel too much. Jayla shook her head. No. Maybe that is why you keep surviving. Because you feel. The room was quiet. Just soft machine beeps and the sound of breath. Then Eli said something that made Jayla freeze. You're the first being I've ever told this to. Jayla looked at him, her voice soft. Why? Because you listened, he said. Really listened. She didn't know what to say. Her heart, a thing she never believed existed, felt something warm inside. Outside the room, another nurse called her name, but she didn't move. Jayla, Eli said, do you think aliens and humans can ever understand each other? She looked into his eyes. I think we already started. The sound of Jayla's name echoed across the hallway. Her heart skipped. Nurse Jayla, report to Central Command at once. The ship's voice repeated. She looked at Eli, who was resting again, breathing softly. The shadows of his war still haunted him. But today, he had smiled. Jayla gently stood and walked toward the elevator. Her fingers were cold. Her thoughts were loud. As the doors opened, she stepped into the council chamber. It was large, round, and cold. Tall Zanari officers, in white and silver uniforms, sat in glowing chairs above her. Their long necks and shimmering skin reflected the lights like mirrors. Nurse Jayla of Halora 9, the elder voice called. You are accused of breaking interspecies medical code. Jayla stood straight. I only scanned the human to understand. His injuries. Silence, another counselor said. You performed a level red biological scan without permission. But he was wounded, Jayla argued. We didn't know what was between his legs. It looked like a threat. That is not an excuse, the voice cut in coldly. The human's private structure is part of their reproductive system. It is a protected area under Galactic Code 7.9. Any unauthorized scans are considered violation. Jayla looked down. Your actions, the elder continued, have placed this ship and the Zanari Medical Alliance in danger. If the human reports this violation, we may face consequences from the Interstellar Peace Treaty. Jayla felt her chest tighten. But he is not angry. He trusts me. I only wanted to help. A moment of silence passed. Then a third counselor leaned forward. Your desire to learn is admirable, but your actions were reckless. You are hereby suspended from all medical duties until further review. The words hit her like ice. Suspended. You may not enter the medical bay, treat patients, or speak to the human without supervision. Jayla clenched her fists. Her heart was screaming, but her voice stayed calm. If I didn't scan him, she said softly, we might have treated him wrong. We might have killed him. And that would have been tragic, the counselor replied. But now you may have started something worse. As the chamber doors closed behind her, Jayla felt like she was walking through fog. Her thoughts were loud, her steps heavy. Was she wrong? Was her curiosity dangerous? Or was it the only way forward? She returned to the medical wing's edge. A guard stood near the entrance. You can't go inside, he said. Jayla looked through the glass. Eli was awake, alone. Looking around, her chest ached. Not because of rules, but because someone who finally felt safe would soon find her missing. She turned and walked away. But that night, Eli asked the nurse beside him, Where is Jayla? The nurse didn't answer. He sat up slowly, pain twisting through his side. Is she in trouble? He asked. Still no reply. His jaw tightened. Tell the council something from me. The nurse blinked. What? I'm alive because of her. If they punish her for that, then maybe we're not the ones who need healing. The council did not expect to see the human standing. Eli's legs were still weak. His back still ached. But he stood tall in the middle of the council chamber, wearing a simple gray robe. Around him, Zenari officers watched with cold eyes. Some curious, some worried, none smiling. He was alone. But he did not feel small. You requested this audience, human? The elder asked. Eli nodded slowly. Yes, to speak about Nurse Jayla. The council exchanged quiet glances. She violated medical law, one said. That is not your concern. It is my concern, Eli replied. She saved my life. Not just my body, but my mind, my hope. He took a deep breath. You see a lawbreaker. I see someone who gave me something I thought I'd lost. Trust. You were scanned without permission, another counselor said. Do you not feel offended? Eli looked them in the eyes. No. I felt respected. Murmurs spread across the chamber. I gave her no permission, true, Eli said. But she didn't harm me. She healed me. And she asked questions, real questions. No one's done that in years. He stepped forward slowly. When I woke up here, I thought I was just another body to you. Another broken thing. But she saw me. She listened. She tried to understand. That does not change the law, the elder said. Eli's voice sharpened. Then maybe your laws are broken. The room went silent. After a pause, Eli spoke again, but this time softer. I know I'm just one human. A survivor from a war no one wants to remember. But I carry something you need. What is that? A counselor asked. Eli smiled faintly. Memory. He reached into the pocket of his robe and pulled out a small crystal shard. It pulsed with soft blue light. This is a memory core from Ashara 5. It contains footage of the war, the fires, the screams, and the help I received. He placed the shard on the council table. It also shows Nurse Jayla treating me with care no soldier ever gave. She saw my pain. She asked what others ignored, and she did something no one else dared. What's that? The elder asked. Eli looked around the room. She treated me like a person, not a threat. The council leaned back, silent. Just then, the chamber door opened. Jayla entered, her hands locked behind her back. She looked surprised to see Eli standing. He turned and smiled. Hey, nurse. Her eyes widened. You're standing. Had to, he said. Wasn't going to let them throw you out for doing the right thing. The council studied both of them. Then the elder spoke again. Human. What do you ask of us? Eli stepped beside Jayla. Let her continue her work. Let her teach others what she's learned. Let her question. That's how healing truly begins. The chamber went quiet. After several long seconds, the elder finally spoke. Your voice is noted, and your request and under review. Jayla stared at Eli. Why did you do this? He smiled. Because you believed in me first. That night, the ship was quiet again. Lights dimmed. Engines hummed. The stars outside looked peaceful. But peace was a lie. Deep in the restricted section of the ship, a cloaked figure watched the memory shard Eli had given to the council. The images played slowly. Children running, soldiers shouting, explosions, and fire eating everything in its path. Then, the camera caught something else. A human holding a glowing blue case. Eli. He was younger, bleeding, coughing, but he was holding something important, something the figure recognized. Classified prototype. Project Ember. The figure pressed a button. Begin full surveillance on the human. In the medical bay, Eli sat by the window looking at the stars. Jayla brought him warm nutrient tea and sat beside him. You were strong today, she said softly. Not strong, Eli replied. Just tired of being silent. Jayla looked at him. You said you were just a medic, but the shard showed you holding something. What was that? Eli hesitated. His hand tightened around the cup. Do you believe in secrets that can start wars? He asked. Jayla nodded slowly. I live among them. Then you'll understand why I lied. He looked at her with tired eyes. I wasn't just a medic. I was carrying the last copy of something called Project Ember, a weapon designed by humans to end every alien war in one strike. Jayla's heart skipped. A weapon? Eli nodded. But I destroyed it, burned it with my own hands. Why? She asked. Because it would have killed your world too. He stood slowly, walked to the window. They trusted me to deliver it. Instead, I chose life over victory. Jayla stared at him. That choice, and it was brave. Maybe, Eli said, but some people didn't forgive me. He looked into the dark space outside. They're probably still out there, watching, waiting, and he was right. Far away, another ship had locked onto Halora 9's location. Inside its dark control room, tall insect-like aliens clicked their mandibles. Glowing red eyes studied the human's face on a screen. Target found. One hissed. What's his value? Another asked. The leader replied with a growl. He knows how to build the weapon again, or where to find the plans. They activated their engines. Prepare to capture. Back on Halora 9, Eli turned to Jayla. If anything happens to me, promise me you'll leave this ship. No, she said firmly. We survive together, or not at all. He looked at her, truly looked. Her silver blue skin reflected the stars. Her golden eyes were not afraid. Something in his chest ached. You remind me of someone, he said. Who? My sister. She died on Ashara 5. Jayla placed her hand gently on his. Then maybe the stars sent me to remind you. You're not alone. Above the ship, a shadow moved through space. Silent. Fast. The enemy was coming. And this time, Eli's secret would not stay hidden. The alarm broke the silence. Red lights flashed across Halora 9. The ship shook slightly. Doors sealed. Voices echoed through the halls. Unidentified ship approaching. Hostile energy detected. Eli stood near the window and saw it first. A black, sharp-looking warship drifting closer. It looked like a monster made of metal and fire. Jayla grabbed his arm. They're here for you. I know, he said. And they won't stop. She pulled him toward the escape corridor. You must hide. No, Eli said, turning to her. I'm done hiding. Inside the warship, insect-like aliens, loaded weapons. Their leader, covered in red battle armor, growled, Bring the human alive. If he resists, take the alien nurse too. Meanwhile, Jayla and Eli reached the main control room. Captain Vor, a tall Zenari with deep violet skin, turned to them. "You brought this enemy to us, human," Vor said coldly. Eli didn't argue. "Then let me stop them." "You?" the captain asked. "You have no weapons." Eli pointed to his head. "But I have knowledge, and I know what they want." Jayla stepped forward. "Let him try." After a long pause, the captain nodded. "You have one chance." Minutes later, Eli stood alone in the ship's hangar. Behind him, Jayla watched from a hidden balcony. The enemy ship opened. Tall, sharp-looking aliens walked out with weapons glowing green. Their leader stepped forward, hissing in a deep voice. "Eli Stone, you carry the key. Give us the weapon plan." Eli stood firm. "I destroyed the last copy." "We don't believe you." "Then shoot me," he said. "Because there's no weapon left," the alien raised his blaster. "Then we'll take your brain instead." He fired, but nothing hit. Jayla, from above, had activated the emergency force field just in time. The bolt bounced off, and Zenari soldiers stormed in from all sides. "Protect the human," the captain ordered. A battle broke out. Laser fire lit the room. Screams, sparks, smoke. Jayla ran down to Eli, grabbing his hand. "This way." They ducked behind a control panel. Eli looked at her. "You could have let me die." "I won't," she said. "Not now, not after everything." "Then let's finish this." He opened his wrist panel. A secret code glowed on the screen. "What's that?" Jayla asked. "The self-destruction signal for their ship. Something I installed when I escaped them years ago." He pressed the final key. In the distance, the enemy warship exploded in a giant ball of fire. The aliens still on Halora 9 looked up, frozen. Eli stood. "You came for a weapon, and you brought war, but all I ever wanted was peace." The remaining enemies dropped their weapons. It was over. Days later, the council cleared Jayla of all punishment. Instead, she was promoted. Eli was granted protected status across all Zenari sectors. They sat together in the garden wing of Halora 9 under the soft alien lights. "You still think you're just a broken human?" Jayla asked. "I think," Eli said with a smile, "I'm a little more than that now." She nodded. "To me, you are." They sat in silence for a while. No alarms, no fear, just peace.